All right, so Grayson, you go ahead and we'll follow along as you present this.
Snakes by Grayson Powers. Habitat: land, ground, or trees. It can also be water. All around the world, but mostly like warm places.
Okay. All right, tell us about the picture you chose here.
It's its habitat, the home. He's just poking his head out.
Oh, yeah. He's almost camouflaged. He looks almost the same color as that rock, doesn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah. Ooh.
Snake's food: mice, fish, eggs, or worms. Would you like to eat worms?
No. I'll eat noodles and pretend they're worms, but that's as close as I'll get. Tell us about this picture here.
It's eating the scales off the fish.
Uh-huh. I think it's eating the whole fish. You know, one time I went fishing and across the creek, we saw a snake like this and it was eating a fish and we watched it. And the fish was as big as the snake and we didn't think it would be able to eat it, but it did.
Um, the other day I saw a snake. It was about that size, but it was dead because it got cut. It got cut by a fishing line.
Yeah, that can happen too. Yeah. All right. Let me go to the next one.
Snakes' body parts or life cycle. Snakes sometimes hatch from eggs and some are born. As they grow up, they molt or shed their skin. Snakes have very flexible jaws, so they can open their mouth up wide to eat things bigger than their head.
Whoops, sorry. Okay. I've got words and stuff where I'm doing Zoom covering up things. All right. So they can eat things bigger than their head. So their jaws can go like real wide. Yeah. Tell us about the picture there.
It's it sheds their skin. It's just their old. It's just their old skin.
Wow. So if you look at it real close, like, can y'all see where I'm pointing with my mouse right now? What does that look like? That's the body part that was from.
An eye.
The eye. I mean, it almost looks like a complete snake, and that's just its skin.
It looks like the other eye got ripped off.
It did a little bit, didn't it? That's cool though that it was able to get that. Usually when you see a snake skin, you don't see the head part to it. It kind of gets broke off, but you usually see all these scale parts. That's interesting that they got that with the eye. Good job on finding that picture. That's a unique one.
Snakes different between young and old or cold or cool facts. There are over 3,000 kinds of snakes. Snakes' eggs have soft shells. Snakes are cold blooded. Snakes are reptiles.
Ooh, those are pretty cool facts. All right, tell us about the picture that you chose there.
It looks like it's grown up.
It does, doesn't it? And it looks kind of different. Look at how its nose kind of curves up. I'm used to seeing,
That's a poisonous
yeah,
one because when it
yeah,
kind of curves up,
really? Mm-hmm.
if you stay, if it stays like that, if it kind of curves up,
Mm-hmm.
it's poisonous. There's
And
two.
there's another interesting thing about all kinds of animals. Whenever they have bright colors, I know this is with frogs and probably is with snakes too, and all other kind of bugs and things, when they have bright colors, that's a signal that they're poisonous. You know, like when we were doing the spiders, you know, Elijah did the spiders and he had the black widow.
Mm-hmm.
So the black widow's poisonous, and there was that bright red spot on it. Remember that, Elijah? The bright red hourglass? And that was a signal that it's poisonous because it's that bright color.
There's two ways that it could be poisonous.
How's that?
One, do you see the end of the tail?
Yeah.
Well, if it was like upside down, if it was split into two, like it's not really split, it's just like a little,
Uh-huh.
then it's not poisonous.
Oh, really?
If it just stays normal, it's
Uh-huh.
poisonous.
Okay, so that's something else to watch for how it's laying on the ground or anything like that.
And this is another way. If its head just kind of like curves up,
Uh-huh.
poisonous. But if the head just kind of like dips down and just keeps on going down until it gets to the bottom.
Like it's rounded. Okay. Also, if you hear it rattling, for sure you know that's a poisonous snake, don't you? Yeah. That one even gives a sound signal that it's poisonous. Mm-hmm. All right. Is that the end of it?
Yeah.
Well, good job. That was great. I learned some new things about it. There's 3,000 kind of 3,000 different types of snakes.
And it's cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded. Do you know what it means to be cold-blooded?
If it's cold, it will be cold. If it's hot, it'll be hot.
It can't make its own temperature. Its temperature is going to be whatever it is around it. You know, like even though it might be cold outside, our bodies, we're warm-blooded. We can still stay warm. I mean, we might feel cold, but we're still warm. But if a snake's outside and it's like 30 degrees, guess what body temperature that snake's going to be?
Cold.
30 degrees. It gets its warmth from the area around it. It doesn't make it from inside its body. You know, like how we can get a fever when we're fighting, when we're sick. They wouldn't get a fever because we get it because we make our own body temperature. And so that's why we see a lot of the reptiles. They like to lay in the sun. You ever seen where like a snake's on a rock or a turtle sitting on a rock? That's because they're trying to get warm in the sun because they don't make their own body temperature. Does anybody have a question they want to ask Grayson about snakes? He did a good job. Well, we learned a lot. So really good job there, Grayson. And you did a really good job on reading and explaining it to us. So I am impressed. It was a slithering snake presentation. Do you hear me try and talk like a snake? Remember, we're trying to talk like characters. All right. Okay. So Grayson, I'm going to let you go ahead and go on mute. And Kira, are you ready to share about wolves now? Okay, I'm going to pull it up and you get to do the talking, okay? Let me get snakes off of here. Okay, I'm having a little bit of trouble because where I've got Zoom going, there we go. All my words and stuff for it are covering up where I can do, click on the presentation. So let me get this big screen for you there, Kira. All right, you do the talking and I'll change it when you're ready.
Okay. The habitat is forests, grasslands, and deserts.
All right, tell us about the picture here. What habitat is he in this picture?
It looks like it's in the forest.
It does, doesn't it? You see the trees in the background. You may even see a tree that's fell down behind it. All right.
The food is deer habitat, rabbits, and squirrels.
Oh, Okay, tell us what's happening in this picture.
All sorts of animals are running in the snow.
How come this is related to your wolves? Tell us what's happening in relation to wolves and their food.
Mm,
They're not just running to play. What are they running for? Tell me, you got the one with the antlers. What kind of animal is that?
it's an elk.
Yep. And so why is the elk running?
Probably from the wolf.
Yep. Now tell me what the wolves are doing then in this picture.
Probably behind in the wood. Probably chasing after the animals.
And why would the wolves want to chase that animal?
Because that's the wolf's food.
Yeah, they're going after it for their food. So do wolves hunt just one of them by itself, or do they do it in packs or groups?
They go in packs, but sometimes they split up.
They do, yeah. But most of the time, like if it's a bigger animal like that one, they know they have a better chance of catching it when they work together as a group, a team. So, but if it was a small animal, like if they was going after a rabbit, would they need all of them, or would one of them be okay? Could one wolf catch a rabbit, or would they need a whole pack to catch a rabbit?
One wolf.
Yeah. It depends on the size of the animal, I think, whether they work in a team or just one. That sounds like that's very good of what they would do there. All right. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Ooh, look at that.
Body parts. Long, sharp teeth and claws. Rounded ears for hearing. Fur helps keep them warm.
Oh, and look at that picture. That really shows about everything that you said there, doesn't it? Tell us what's happened, what you see in this picture, why you picked it.
The wolf is laying down, and it shows the big, long, sharp teeth.
Mm-hmm. And you see teeth with that wide open, you can see how many teeth it is and how far back they go, don't you? He could make a big bite on something with that wide of a mouth, couldn't he? Almost reminds me of how wide that snake opens up his mouth, right, Grayson? Almost looks like a snake opening his mouth real wide. Okay? And it shows the ears really well because you said the ears were what? Round?
Rounded
And that
ears.
really shows the ears really well that they're round in that picture. That's a great picture for all that. Only thing it doesn't show is the claws, but you know, that's hard to find with every single thing. You got most of them, so that's a good picture for that. Okay. All right. Tell us about this one.
Difference between young and old or cool facts. When they hunt, they talk by howling. The sound carries over many miles. Baby wolves are born in the spring. The mom stays to nurse and the dad guards them and brings food.
Okay. Now tell us about this picture here.
It looks like the mom and the baby are walking on some sort of road.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. You ever heard a wolf howl? I mean, not in, most of us haven't in real life, but like on TV, heard them howl. Mm-hmm. And it can go for many miles. So when it says baby wolves are born in the spring, that's a baby wolf right there. So when do you think that season is right there? Is that in the fall or is that in the spring picture right there, Kira?
I don't know.
It's kind of hard to tell. But you can also look at the leaves to help you. You know, he's not like the little one where, they're just eyes are closed and they can't really walk. They're just rolling around. He's already grown a little bit and is walking around and is outside. So I might think this is more like of a summer picture where he's maybe a month or two old, wouldn't you? Yeah. Okay. Great job. I learned some things about wolves I didn't know before. You even taught me. Did you learn some new things, Kira, that you didn't know before? Good. The wolves kind of remind me of a wild version of a dog, don't they, you? I'm going to stop share right now. And let's see, does anybody have, oh, I see already a hand. Grayson, you got us a question? Hey, remember when we met with Ranger Tom and he said to hold down the space bar when you want to talk? Hold it down and talk and see if it works. No, it's still not working. There we go.
I think that was in the summer.
Now, what was the clues you used to help you think the summer?
It was super sunny and it looked hot.
It did look like that, didn't it? Yeah, we use clues to help us out with things like that. All right, Nate, did you have your hand up? No, I thought you did. You're just stretching. Okay. Anybody else got any questions? All right, Kira, you did a tremendous job.
Thank you.
You helped me learn about wolves. And Grayson, I learned some things about snakes I didn't know before too. And I am impressed with this. Remember how I said that I'm going to try to work on a new project? I'm working on the next one right now. You know, right now we're in fall. And what happens to the leaves in the fall? You all can go off of mute now if you want to. Somebody tell me what happens to the leaves in the fall, Grace.
They fall off the trees.
But before they fall off, what happens to them first?
They color up.
They change color, don't they? Bless you. So we're going to do a little thing about leaves. We're going to learn what kind of leaves we have on our trees. And you're going to be going and doing some scavenger hunting for leaves. Different colors, different types. And then you're going to make something with leaves. And then we're going to try to get Ranger Tom back in on another virtual field trip to talk about leaves. Why sometimes they're green in the summertime. He's talked about it a little bit, but we're really going to focus on looking at it in detail. Why they go from green to red, orange, yellow in the fall, okay? All right. So I'm working on that now. It'll start next week, some of the things we did, all right? Okay. Has anybody got any questions about anything while we're here together? Nope. What you got, Grayson?
What was the habitats like they did that I didn't hear?
The habitats for the wolves?
No, like remember the other week when I didn't get to do it.
Well, I had it linked on the checklist for you to watch the recording of them. So if you were to go back to last week's checklist, you can still access it in your Google and click on where it said for us to present them. I now changed it to the recording you watch where everybody else recorded theirs and see it. Okay? So I recorded that lesson just like I recorded this, and I'll put it on the checklist for anybody that missed it. So if you can go back to last week's checklist and go where we had our 10 o'clock meeting last Tuesday, you'll get to see everybody's that presented last week. All right, Grayson?
Thank you.
And if you can't find it, let me know. I can send it to you in email. Okay? All right. And Kira, the same thing. If you wanted to watch everybody's from last week's, you can go to last week's checklist, and if you can't find it, just send me a message and I'll send it to you in an email. All right? All right. Well, y'all have a great day, and just send me a note if you have any questions. All right? I'm here for you if you need it. All right? I'll see y'all on Thursday.
Bye.
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 Bye.